Hello. Thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Sandra Nova and I am the owner of Silver Crown Credit Repair. Before we get into today's presentation, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm so passionate about credit repair. Um, I worked I work with clients to show them how to achieve their dreams, to improve their credit, to get and achieve the dreams that they want. Um, after 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 my divorce, I was drowning in credit card debt from using my credit cards to bridge the gap between paychecks. And I started this because was learning about the credit industry, and wanted to share this information with everyone. I know that if we know better, we'll do better, especially as women. I'm a credit repair expert and I've been in the financial industry for 20 years. And what I love about what I do is hearing from my clients that they've been able to achieve their dreams of starting their own businesses, buying their homes, getting the car that they want on their own terms. So we know that credit is the staircase to living your best life. And so I'm here to share some of my wisdom. But really, what would you do with credit if you could get whatever it is that you wanted in life? What exactly would you reach for? Would you get that new would you go out and buy a new house? Would you do um would you would you get a new house? Would you buy a new car? Would you do exactly what would you do? And let's start dreaming big. Can you put those things in the comment? I would love to hear exactly what you would do. You know, so many things, right? But we know that credit scores impact everything in our life. So when I asked you about putting items in, what did you want? Did you really think about your paycheck, your bank account first? And that's what we want to do. Credit is the leverage you use in order to leverage to get what you want. So instead of sitting here thinking about what you have and being limited by what's in your bank account, using credit allows you to get the money that you need to get what you want, whether it's starting your new business, whether it's getting the home that you want, whether it's refinancing the home that you have for a lower rate so that you can finish, so you can save money. And so that's what I'm really here to talk to you about right now. So, basically, let's start about like the different credit bureaus that we have. There are three main credit bureaus, and they are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And all these companies do is collect data on you. That's it. So they're collecting the information on your name, where you work, where you live, um, and all of the different accounts that you have. But let me show you exactly what they do with all of that information. So they compile all of this data on you, and then they use these five categories in order to give you a score. And we'll go into that a little bit later, but let's talk about what they are using. So as you can see on the pie chart, in order to come up with your FICO score, it is 35% of your payment history. So they're getting information on you on whether or not you are in fact paying your bills on time. What I want you to look at this, your credit report is as a report card, your credit profile. They're looking in this category. Are you paying your bills on time? Are you making late payments? Are you a slow pay? Are you a no pay? So that comes up to 35% of your score. The next largest percentage is 30%, which accounts for the amount you owe, your credit utilization. So if you have a credit card that has $1,000 and you're using it all the way up to $900, you're using 90%. What they really want you just to use is up to 30%. So that would be just $300 on a $1,000 credit card limit. So we want you to be mindful of that. Be mindful of these two big categories because you are in control of 65% of your score. So you are in control. The next category is 10%, which is inquiries, it's new accounts. So it's basically how many times you're going to the bank or going to lenders and asking for credit. So you want to limit the amount of times that you're going to ask them because you're going around begging and you get these dings, these inquiries on your file to say, they think if you're asking for so much credit that you're in trouble. And so then you'll be considered risky. The next one is 15% is your credit length. So how long have you been using credit? Are you a newbie? Did you just get your first credit card a couple months ago, last year? Or have you been using credit for a long time? So do you have a card that you've had for a number of years, like since college, since you got your first job? And it doesn't really matter in that category. If you have any late payments, they're just calculating how long you've had these accounts. The next one is your credit mix. They want you to have a installment loans, which are accounts that have a beginning and an end, which is like a auto loan or a mortgage or student loans. You also want to have some revolving credit, which are like credit cards. So they want to make sure that you can handle both. They don't just have one or the other. So let's go into what is a good score, right? So as you can see on here, we have the good and bad. So you go from your lower scores that range from 300 to 850. 850 is considered excellent, while 300 you are considered more risky. So if you lower the score, the riskier you are. If your score is higher, they're like love you and they have confidence. Lenders have confidence that you'll pay your bills. So let's talk about exactly let's talk about this. Where can you go and see your score? You can go to annualfreecreditreport.com and you can get your credit profile, which is your credit report card. And don't be mindful that you may have to pay a little bit in order to get your actual score. But what we really, really, really want is just to be able to look on our credit report and see if we recognize all the accounts on our file. So now, what do we do and what happens? So here it is. Now that you know who has your information and who's reporting it, and what is a good score and what's a bad score, we want to take a look and see what that really, really looks like. So we have two people here. One is Bad Credit Craig and one is Good Credit Mike. They both are 30 years old. They both have the same income of $40,000 a year. They both are looking to get a loan for $15,000 for 5 years. The only difference between these two individuals is that Bad Credit Craig has a score of 620, while Good Credit Mike has a score of 670. And as you can see, the monthly payment that Craig is making is almost $300. It's $266. While Craig, because his credit is so good, he is able to secure a lower interest and only pay a monthly payment of $215. So that is a big difference. Bad Credit Mike is paying $16,000 for that loan, while Good Credit Mike is paying $13,000. So that's a big difference in savings that you can have that's coming into your family. So now that we know the difference and how our credits impacts everything, let's take a look and see exactly how we could possibly achieve your goals of having the 700 credit score. So what we want to do is make sure. Make sure that we are making our payments on time. Now, that's number one. Make sure that you're paying your bills on time. And usually I tell my clients to make sure that you're paying them at least 2 days early because we know that things happen. And so you don't want to get dinged just because something happened that you weren't able to get the good to the computer to make your payment, or the mail is slow, or anything, however you pay your bills. I also want to make sure that we're paying our credit cards down to 20%. I know that I'm saying before, I was saying that they are suggesting 30%, but we're trying to get all of the points in this category. So you want to make sure that you pay your cards down to 20% or less. We don't want to we also want to make sure that you continue to use your cards. A lot of times people are like really get into the mode of, oh, I'm just going to pay off all my credit cards. They want to make sure that you are using them. You don't want to run the risk of them closing your accounts on you. So you want to make sure that you're using them, whether or not you're just buying some gas, whether you're just buying your lunch once a month or something like that. But we want to just get in the habit of using them. The other thing that we can do is make sure that we have a clean credit profile. And that's your report card, your credit report card, remember. So you try to go in and you remove old addresses, anything that's years old that you is really unnecessary. So you want to make sure you go in and make sure that they are spelling your name correctly, and you're send them what's called a personalized letter. And we can drop that in the chat so you can have this letter to use over and over again. So what that letter does is tell the credit bureaus, each one of them, you'll use it and you'll send it off to each of the three bureaus, and you'll say, this is my name, this is the spelling of my name, this is my birth date, this is the only address that I have. And that cleans up your file so that if there is some misspelling of your name, it can be cleaned up and in a jiffy. The other thing is that you want to make sure that, like I said, you want to keep your account, your credit cards active. You want to make sure, the whole idea is to make sure that you have more positive accounts instead of negative. And when you're trying to buy a home or buy a car, the most important time is just the last 24 months. I know a lot of people go on and they're like, oh my gosh, I really need to get this old account off of my file. Sometimes it's better just to leave it alone. If it's old, like over 2 years old, just sometimes just leave it, because it only, like if you have collections that go onto your account or anything like that, it's better to just leave them alone and they will just age off. A lot of times we get into the habit and we'll reach back and we'll trigger things, and then they start coming after us and they re-age them. A lot of these collections only have a certain period of time, a statute of limitation. And then when you reach out to them, it might have almost been about to fall off, when in fact, when you call them, it reactivates and they re-age it, and the whole clock starts all over again. The next thing is that you want to have a mixture account of accounts. They want you to have installment loans, like I said, and we have something called self lender. This just gives you like an installment account, but it is a special type of account because you're actually paying yourself. After like maybe a year or two, whichever one you select, you're basically giving savings account to yourself. It's reporting that you're making these payments to yourself, and it helps boost your score. It's called Self Lender. There's another one called Kickoff as well. You can look at that one too. And also, if you are trying to rebuild your credit, I'm going to jump in the drop in the chat some of my favorite secure cards that we use I suggest to some of my clients to boost their score. We have to start somewhere. I know everyone wants to go out and get a black card, but if we're not ready, we just kind of slow down and we rebuild. Sometimes these cards are not very favorable to us, but remember, we are trying to rebuild confidence in ourselves so that people will give us those better cards later. So I want to talk about some of the top credit secrets. So number one, I want to tell you, number one, that Credit Karma is not a credit repair company. I mean, they are a marketing company. They basically are there to sell your information and to guide you over to the credit people, to the credit providers. Have you ever noticed that when you're on on this site, they are telling Credit Karma is always sending you a message saying, hey, I want you to log in because your score boosted. It just went up 10 points. It went up 2 points. You now qualify for this new outstanding credit card. And so you're like, oh, you get excited. You get in there. You're like, oh, okay, it's this account. You click the link and then you go over to, we'll say Capital One, Chase, or anything, any of those. And you apply because you're all excited because surely you'll get this card. Well, I just want to tell you that Credit Karma actually gets money for each time they send somebody over to a site. So the whole business is trying to market you to go over there. So the more times we can get someone over there and click and apply, they get money. So it's not helping you, right? But all they're doing is just a free advertisement, and that's how they get paid. So I want you not to look at Credit Karma as law, because I would hate for you to go into the dealership because Credit Karma said you had a 650. When you go over to the dealership to get that brand new car, you're all excited. They pull up your file and you've got a 500. So basically, they also are using a Vantage score and not a FICO score. When lenders are looking at you, it is a FICO score. It's still pretty much the same categories, but just a little bit different. The Vantage score is usually higher, much higher than, not much, but higher than your FICO score. So I just want you to keep that in mind and don't go in and get your feelings hurt because you think you have a 700 credit score and then you go over there to get the car or buy the house and your score is like 50 points less. Another top credit secret that I usually ask is you can actually, is two ways to use authorized users. And I suggest this to my people that have kids. I myself have two boys, and when they were younger, I did add them on my account as an authorized user. And what that does is it adds my good credit history to their credit history. So when they graduated from high school, they had 700 credit score because they had gotten all of that history of my good credit on their profile. And so that's what is actually helps them to build their credit. The other way that you can use this is you can use this, say your credit is challenged, which I've been through that before. And what you do is you ask one of your friends, family members, anybody you know that has a good credit. You ask them, hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to buy a house. I need a little bit of a boost. And so I want you to know if you could add me as an authorized user to your credit card. And you want to make sure that the people that you're asking, number one, have good credit, haven't ever been late on this account, because the worst thing that you can do is be added to an account that has some blemishes and it's going to drop your score instead of raising it. The other thing is that you're asking them, but what you have to remember to say is, hey, I don't want you to give me the card. You keep it. I don't need it. I just need your good credit history to be added to my report card so that it'll boost my score. And so that's two ways. You can add your kids when you get your great credit. You can add your kids to help them build up so that when they get ready to buy their home or houses, they already have the good credit. All they need to do is get a job. And you can ask your friends or family. In my case, I asked my mother if she can add me to her credit card so that I can assume some of her good credit in order to boost my score. The third thing is we've all been through this, in which we missed a payment on our credit card or something like that, and or life happens, we missed it. But it's all is not lost. I want you to know that I'm going to give you this bonus of what's called a goodwill letter. A goodwill letter is a letter that you'll send to the lender explaining the situation. You'll say, hey, I am current with my account now. I did have some credit challenges when I was having a baby, when I was unemployed, when I don't know anything, my spouse lost their job, Whatever it is, say your story. And then you're asking them if they could waive that late payment and remove it from your credit. A lot of times they will do that for you. You'll send it to the CEO of the company, like a Chase, a Capital One, Bank of America, all of those. Send it to them. Tell them what happened. But the key is that you should be current on your accounts now, and just ask them and tell them exactly what you're going to do. In most cases, people are not heartless, and they really want to see, keep a good relationship with you. The next thing that I want to talk about is building your relationships with your credit providers. Like I said before, you can write the goodwill letter, but also if you are experiencing some challenges now, it is always best for you to reach out to your lenders and tell them what's going on. In this day and age right now, due to COVID, and I know back in the day when people were just had unemployment where the market dropped and all that other stuff, you had to call your lender, call the credit provider, and say, hey, I'm experiencing a loss of income due to COVID. I'm experiencing a loss of income because of X. And what that does is those lenders, those reps that are on the phone, it opens up different credit offers to you. In my case, I called a lender. I had a payment of $600. And so I wasn't able to make that payment. I could have, but I was like, oh, it's a little tight. And so I called them and I said, hey, I can't make this payment right now, but I really want to stay in good standings. And they was like, well, can you pay $25? Sure, I could pay $25 in order to keep my account current. So that's what you do. If you have a relationship, if they know that you're trying and you're working, sure. What it is that they don't really want you to go to collection. They don't want to put that ding on there, but you have to pick up the phone and you have to communicate. And that's some of the key words are, say whatever is going on. And a lot of times you have to listen. You have to listen to what the customer representative is saying, because she'll say, are you experiencing issues with unemployment? And that's your key word. Yes, yes, that's what I want to say. Yes. And so other things like that. So you want to make sure that you pick up the phone, explain the situation so that they will help you. The next thing is collections. Collections. Most cases, people are running when they get it. You get the bill in the collection letter in the mail and you throw it away. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that you open that bill up. Make sure you're looking at that collection letter, because on that collection letter, it has fine print on there that says you have 30 days to say, this is not mine. So you have to open it up. If you do not recognize it, pick up the phone, call them and say, I am not aware of this. Please stop calling me and send me a letter with the proof of that I owe this debt. Like, so that's telling them, number one, don't contact you anymore via phone or at your job or anything like that. So what it is that you're telling them, I need you to send me proof that it's actually owed by me. And that stops it. But if you just throw it away, what do? They assume that you know it, and they assume it and they put it right on your credit report. And so there's no way, there is a way for you to challenge it. But if you could just stop it by just responding to a letter, isn't that better than it being a ding and you losing 50 points on your credit when you're trying to rebuild it? So let's stop giving the lenders like that or the collection companies so much power. We want to make sure that we are who we say we are and keep moving and take responsibility and be an adult and actually talk to them and communicate. So let's do that from now on, okay? So also I wanted to make sure that we all, going through this webinar, thank you so much for staying this far, but I want to let you know that we all know the cost of bad credit, the high interest rates, the missed opportunities on starting a business or getting a SBA loan and all of those things. I want to offer you the opportunity right now in order to get my do-it-yourself credit repair kit. It has letters that you can use, that you can have on your own, that you can repair everything on your credit. What you'll do is I'll put a link, is valued at 29, I'm sorry, $299. But let me tell you what you get. For this, you'll be able to, like I said, get your own credit report, take a look at it, send the letter that I just gave you for free, which is the personalized letter, for you to challenge, for you to make sure that all of the information is factual. So you'll get your credit report, you'll take a look at it. If there's anything on there that you do not recognize, you're going to dispute it, right? You're going to say, hey, and the letter is in here in the packet that'll help you to get rid of that information. It'll help you to um, write your letter. It's already pre-written. There's 6 letters. You pick which one that you need and you'll dispute it. You'll challenge it. It helps you with things that are your bankruptcies. There's a letter for collections. There's a letter for your name. All of this just making sure, and it's all in this do-it-yourself kit. So I want to help you to achieve your dreams right now. So I want you to act now. Now I know I said that the letters were valued at $299. No, you know I'm not going to just offer that to you. So I'm here today to offer it to you for $49.99. And that's all I'm saying, is that it's only $49.99 and you can improve your credit drastically yourself. You don't need me. You don't really need me, but I really appreciate you sitting during this. And I hope that this webinar gave you a lot of vital information, like some credit tips and how to, really who the bureaus are and what to look for, and all of that stuff, or really how to get your 700 credit score so that we can keep on living our dreams, get and not miss out on any more opportunities. So I want to thank you for coming and sitting here again in the chat. We will drop the link to get the do-it-yourself credit repair kit. And like I said, it's only $49.99 today. And I hope it helps you. And I hope you learned as much as I did. And I love giving back. So if you do, just make sure that hit the like button and come back and see us. Here are the ways that we have, you can get in touch with us. I have Facebook group at Silver Crown. We are also on Instagram. If you need consultation or anything like that, you can also reach us at the website and schedule an appointment. But have a great day, and I look forward to you achieving your dreams and reaching back out to me and letting me know that you did. Thank you.